Today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me while I talk to you guys about how I moved out at 18 and my first apartment. Let's get into it. To give a little backstory, when I moved out, it wasn't necessarily my choice. Not to get too deep into it. It wasn't exactly my choice, but at the same time, I wasn't, how do you put it? I wasn't wanted at home. Let's just say family trauma. It was kind of more of a situation where I didn't want to be there and my family didn't want me there. So I left. I wasn't exactly ready. Mentally, I didn't really know what I was getting into. And financially, I definitely was not prepared at all. But anyways, I had a friend that was aware of my situation and knew that I was trying to find a place to live. And she happened to live in this apartment building for pretty cheap. So I went and I saw the apartment and I met the landlord. First of all, we're gonna ignore all the black eyeshadow on this, okay? I swear it's not like disgusting. Well, it is pretty disgusting, but so yeah, I met the landlord. I saw the apartment. It was honestly like a piece of shit. It was very old and outdated, but it was cheap. All the utilities were included and it was available, so I took it. I literally took all the money out of my bank account. I think it was like $1,500 total for first month and security, so it was $750 a month. I came back, I gave the landlord the money, and he had me sign this lease that was like very obviously printed off Google. And that was it. I had the apartment. I was looking for other apartments at this time, and I actually had one where I almost signed the lease, but it was in a very like not desirable neighborhood, and this one was. So I was like, well, I might as well. So yeah, I got the apartment, and immediately I went back to the house that I was living at, and I started just trying to load up my car and grab everything until I got a call from my friend saying that apparently the people that lived next to me stole my fridge out of my apartment. My fridge. Like, first of all, I could have swore that I locked the apartment. I was like 99% sure that I locked the apartment door before I left, but apparently I didn't. I think that I just didn't close the door all the way like an idiot. And yeah, the people that live next door literally opened my apartment and took the fridge out. And because she's been living in this apartment, you know, she like knew who these people were and like had their phone number and everything. I guess their fridge broke, and that's why they felt comfortable enough to go into my apartment, which they claimed they thought no one was living there, even though I literally had boxes of stuff in there. So I'm pissed at this point. I'm like, what the fuck? I just signed this lease. I just gave this man fucking $1,500. Why the fuck is my fridge being stolen out of my apartment? Meanwhile, this friend is trying to sit here and blame me for not locking my apartment door, which I could have swore I did, but maybe I didn't close the door all the way. Anyways, so I'm like blowing up the landlord's phone. He doesn't want to fucking answer. And I'm like, hello? My fridge just got stolen. Like, what the fuck? I'm pissed. I'm pissed. And my friend is like, oh, don't worry. I'll talk to the neighbors. They'll put it back. Which eventually they put it back. But I'm like, you guys stole my fridge. And then they got the new fridge. The landlord had no problem buying them a new fridge. Fuck you guys. I should have got the new fridge at that point, since you want to go in my apartment and steal it. So that was the first red flag. And this was literally like my first day of like having this apartment. Like literally signed the lease and was in the process of moving shit in. Like I said, the apartment was very like outdated. There was like this very ugly like blue paint in the kitchen. I'll try to insert a picture if I can find one. It literally looked like someone just like took a bunch of blue paint and just splattered it all throughout the kitchen. Like the landlord did not give a fuck about those apartments. He didn't. Nothing was updated. Nothing was fixed. My stove, it was tiny. My oven like didn't have, it was like a dial oven, and like it didn't even actually have a dial, so like I literally could not use the oven with the 8 months of me being there. And that's another thing too, the lease was month to month, which I feel like should have been a red flag, because you know, usually leases are a year, and I don't know, that I feel like that just kind of shows that a lot of people are moving out. Fast forward to like maybe a month or so of me living here. As any apartment building, you're always going to have issues with the neighbors. There was 3 floors in the apartment building. I was on the 2nd floor. The person directly above me would vacuum, I shit you not, every single day at like 8 a.m. Like the typical upstairs neighbor, that's literally what I had. Like, I just don't understand how your apartment can get that dirty and you have to vacuum every morning, but whatever. So yeah, that was always pretty fucking annoying. And by no surprise, I was starting to have a lot of problems with the people directly next to me, the ones that stole my fucking fridge, which, by the way, they like never apologized for. Oh, love that for me. I just spilled that all over the place. Wow, it literally got all over my phone. That's amazing. Anywho, so I started having problems with the people directly next to me. Like, they would do things, like, they would constantly leave, like, all their garbage bags, like, in the middle of the hall. Which, like, I guess I can understand being a little lazy. Okay, you're on the 2nd floor, no one wants to walk all those garbages down. But at the same time, why are you leaving it in the hall? Like, in the middle of the hall. Like, at least leave it, like, in your apartment or something. Because it was literally stinking up the fucking hallways. And it was, like, it wasn't just, like, one bag. It'd be, like, 4 bags at a time. Speaking of garbage, too, that was another thing. My landlord would, like, not keep up on, like, calling the fucking dumpster people. And the dumpster was, like, constantly overflowing with garbage. And again, as all neighbors are in apartment buildings, the people next to me were, like, super fucking loud all the time. And they would constantly play, like, music super loud at, like, 12 o'clock at night, even though they had children in the house. Mind you, these were studio apartments. Like, these were not big apartments, and they had, like, 4 people living in there. But yeah, so they had children in the house, and they would constantly play this super loud music super late at night. And while I am a night owl, nobody wants to fucking hear that shit. And there would be times, like, if I had to work the next day, like, I have to get up for, like, 10 a.m., which isn't early, but it's, like, it's just a matter of respect. Like, nobody wants to hear your music that loud, especially not at 12 a.m. And they would do it all the fucking time. And eventually, I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I had an idea. So, they would do it through a Bluetooth speaker. I don't know what told me to just check one night, but, you know, it was happening where they were blasting music. I was getting irritated because I was trying to sleep. And something told me to just check to see if it was Bluetooth. And it was. So I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like thinking for a second. I'm like, do I want to be petty right now? Like, do I want to be kind of like, fuck you. You want to see how it is? Let's do it. So after me going back and forth with myself for about like 30 seconds, I'm like, you know what? These people have been a nuisance. They stole my fucking fridge. So I'm holding a grudge. I'm going to do it. So I don't know what you guys know about Thigh Art is Murder, but they are a very loud fucking metal band. And I was like, you know what? I connected to their speaker and I heard it connect. Because, mind you, the walls were like paper fucking thin. I heard the little connect and I blasted that shit full fucking volume. Like, I heard it through the wall, clearly. And I heard them start freaking out, be like, oh my god, stop it. I only did it for about like 10 seconds, but it was enough to fucking freak them out. And they never did it again. So, they also never fucking confronted me. So, I don't know if they know it was me. They probably do, but at the same time, it's like, you stole my fridge. And I never, like, got an apology or anything for it. So, it's like, what are you gonna do? You shouldn't have been playing music. That just went, like, up my nose. I had beef with everyone in that fucking apartment building. So, there was this dude that was living across from me. And I never really saw him much, but I know he existed. I saw him a few times, and he always seemed, like, really awkward, and, like, I've always tried saying, like, hi, just be friendly, and he never really said anything back to me, so I'm like, okay, But he started parking in my spot because we all had numbered spots for the apartments. And he started parking in my spot, and I know it was him because I saw him get out of the fucking car. And the whole reason he kept doing that was because in his spot, there was like a tree right over it, and there'd be so much fucking bird poop that he didn't want to park there. So guess who had to park there? Me. And I got fucking tired of it. I called the fucking landlord. I'm like, this is fucking happening. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm getting pissed off. My car is covered in bird poop now, like covered. And you want to know what the landlord did? He literally repainted the spot numbers. So he literally just switched the numbers. So the spot that I had was now my spot, and the spot that was supposed to be mine was his spot. Because technically the guy was living there longer than me, even though like that wasn't his fucking spot. So yeah, that was fucking cool. So not only am I dealing with shit all the time from inside the apartment, I'm literally getting my car covered in bird poop every fucking day. Like, that dude did not want to fucking deal with anything. And he would like, I remember when I would call him and be like, hey, I have an issue with whatever. It was like I was such an inconvenience to him, and he'd be like, well, I'm fucking sick or this or that. Because he was like this older fucking Italian dude. I don't know. He was not a good fucking landlord. I honestly don't even know what kind of eyeshadow I'm doing right now, but we're gonna just work with what I'm doing. Anyways, moving on from that guy, I think the worst of them all was the alcoholic that lived on the first floor. He was an issue for everybody. Nobody liked him. First of all, I don't even know how he was even like living and affording to live in an apartment, because he didn't work. Like, I would see him like walking up and down the street every day. I don't know if he got like money from the state or something, but yeah, I don't know how he was even living there. But anyways, that's not the issue. He, like, anytime I see him, he would just make me like super uncomfortable. Mostly because he was drunk all the time, so I don't think he even like realized what was going on a lot. I would work late. I would get home at like 11 o'clock at night, and there would be times where I would see him literally peek out his window, like through the blinds, and just stare at me while I'm in the parking lot. Like, stare. Not like a little peek and like, okay, like he would stare. And he didn't realize that I could see him because like he had the lights on in his apartment and it was dark outside. But like I could very noticeably see his figure and like him looking out the blinds. And he would do it like almost every fucking night. And I just got to the point where I was so fucking over it, because I'm like, you're being fucking creepy. I wanted him to know that I fucking saw him. One night I just decided to just wave at him, and that's when he backed away from the window. I honestly can't remember if he actually stopped after I did that. Probably not, but you know, he was fucking weird. There actually was one neighbor that I actually didn't mind when I was living there. He was also on the first floor, and he was like the most like normal and like nicest one there. But he ended up telling me that the drunk guy, the alcoholic, ended up bringing bed bugs into the building. So immediately I'm like freaking out, you know, because I'm like, fuck no, I'm not dealing with fucking bed bugs. And I don't know anything about bed bugs. I don't know how they spread. I don't know, you know, I'm fucking clueless. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna avoid the first floor. I should be fine. No. So the whole reason this dude told me was, one, to fucking let me know, because no one else was saying anything, even though the entire first floor had bed bugs. And he was also moving out because his apartment had bed bugs and the landlord wasn't doing anything. So that was like, I don't know, maybe like a month went by, and I'm like freaked out. You know, I've been looking for like different apartments and stuff to try to move out, because I just had continuous issues from this place. And one night I was sitting on the phone, and all of a sudden I feel something crawl on my hand. I'm like, what the fuck? It was a bed bug. So I'm like, I fucking freak out. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So then I'm sitting there, I can't sleep. I'm not sleeping in a fucking bed knowing there's bugs in it. I can't do that. Because I can't just, like, if they're gonna crawl on me, they're gonna bite me, I'm not doing that. I immediately start freaking out and start fucking Googling shit about bed bugs because I don't fucking know shit. Basically, little lesson for you guys, bed bugs are attracted to heat. So they can sense when you're in the bed. And that's when they come out. From what I remember, they won't come out to feed if there's nothing to feed on, like they feel the heat or some shit. And I had a little couch in there as well, so I started sleeping on there, but they can sense the fucking heat and went in my couch, and then I couldn't sleep there anymore, and I literally had to fucking sleep over people's houses and stuff. This went on for about a month. The landlord was very well aware of it, and he didn't do anything. He didn't fucking do anything. He kept saying he was gonna come out and bug my apartment specifically. He never fucking did. And even so, bed bugs are so fucking invasive. You can't just bomb one apartment. You need to bomb the whole apartment building, which is a lot of money, I'm assuming. And you'd have to do it multiple times. He wasn't gonna fucking do that. I moved the fuck out. I had to leave a lot of my belongings there, like a lot of them. I had like a brand new fucking mattress I was sleeping on. That was fucking garbage. My fucking couch, like a bunch of fucking stuff, clothes, all that. Like I had to leave, like all this stuff I worked so hard for and like could barely fucking afford. I had to fucking leave there. And instead of fucking giving me my deposit back, I literally just told him to use it as the last month's fucking rent. Because I was not fucking paying him any more money at that point. I did not give a fuck. I just wanted to get the fuck out of there. Which maybe that was kind of stupid of me, but I was not fucking... I was just done. I was done with the landlord. I was done with the building. I was fucking over it. I ended up going back to where I was living before I moved there. And I was only there for a few months before I found myself in a different living situation. But yeah, I guess moral of the story... don't ignore red flags, especially when it comes to a fucking apartment. And I think financially too, because I haven't really spoken a lot about like my financial, situation when I was living there. I was barely making rent every month. I was lucky enough to be on food stamps during that time period, but I was just barely paying rent every single month. Like I was almost always late. Which part of me didn't even care because of, like, how everything else was. I'm like, I definitely think if you can wait to move out, wait. Wait until you have some kind of savings at least, till you have a stable enough job, especially now with the pricing of everything just gone fucking up. You know, obviously things were fucking cheaper back then, but yeah, I was barely living, and it was honestly fucking miserable. I was very lonely. Like, that's something I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. Like, everyone wants to talk about moving out and living alone, but then it's like, you're fucking so lonely all the time. And especially if you're someone like me that, like, struggles with mental illness, like, it can turn into a bad situation fast. If you can be financially prepared, do it. When I moved out, obviously, it was very, like, I don't want to say impulsive, but it was not planned. And I definitely should have fucking taken my time to look at other apartments first. Like, I literally looked at one other apartment and I was, like, ready to fucking... Like, I was just so desperate to move out that I took the first thing that came to me. And that's not good because obviously look at what happened. So, yeah, if you have the time and the resources and everything to sit there and actually try to plan... you know, where you're going to live, how you're going to afford it, everything, then definitely do that. But it was definitely a learning experience. Living on your own can also be very nice. You know, it can be nice just not having to deal with other people in your space anyways. To have your own setup and your own kitchen and your own food. You know, if you want to go... make fucking nachos at 3 a.m. in your underwear, you can, and no one's gonna stop you. So even despite everything, having my own safe place to go to was still something that was worth it to me. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you like these types of videos. I have a lot of story times that I've been thinking about making videos of, but a lot of them are pretty traumatic. And I don't know if those would be like too much for YouTube or whatever, but yeah.